please, don't try anything that you're about to see us do at home.
Ever.
On this stampeding episode of MythBusters, we go head-to-head with the forces of nature and live to regret it. Adam and Janie shoot a time-honored saying full of holes.
You gonna shoot me in a barrel?
They reanimate the dead.
It's alive!
Then go way over the top to see if it really is easy to shoot fish in a barrel. And Cary, Grant, and Tori risk life and lips in a stomach-turning search for the best hot chili cure.
My mouth's on fire!
Then the boys go wild to see if a mouse can really panic a pachyderm.
You expose the mouse and all hell breaks loose.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
That was awesome!
And Jamie Heineman.
Much.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Rise, my son.
Joining them, Grant Imahara.
Warning, warning.
Tori Belleci.
It's getting dangerous now, and that's how we like it.
And Carrie Byron.
That is messed up!
They don't just tell the myths,
Wow, I can feel the pressure.
they put them to the test.
So what do we got this time?
We have a proverb, adage, a saying.
Okay, what style or genre of adage do we have?
Well, I'll give you a hint. It refers to something that's really easy.
Easy as pie.
No, keep going.
Oh, stealing candy from a baby.
Never tried it, but that's not it.
Oh, shooting fish in a barrel.
That's it.
Awesome. And then maybe later we can fit in stealing candy from a baby.
If you want.
Janie and Adam won't be the first to destroy an innocent barrel, but they might be the first to seriously test if shooting fish inside a barrel is as easy as it sounds.
Well, so the plan seems strangely easy on this one, but we can't use real live fish. I mean, we'll run into trouble from everybody on that front.
Yeah, well, okay. Why don't we go to the fish market and get something that's already on ice, and then I'll bring it back to life, my way.
Okay, that's a good if creepy plan.
Over at the seafood store, Adam soon finds he's way out of his depth. He's more a fish finger fancier.
Oh, look, they've got a slot here so you can wear them like a mitten. That's great, you can keep your hands warm.
First, Adam and Janie have to agree on a species they think typifies your average fish.
He's beautiful, look at that.
How you doing, Jamie? You gonna shoot me in a barrel?
You know, I've actually animated these things to do exactly that.
Really?
Yeah. It was a trout, though.
It was a trout.
A big one.
The trout's out for this myth. But it should be just as easy to stuff a tiny motor inside a dead snapper so it shimmies just like a live one. Well, that's the plan, anyway.
We got some small fish, we got some medium-sized fish, and we got some nice large fish.
Back at M5, Jamie fine-tunes a tiny electric motor that should reanimate his catch of the day.
I've got an off-center crank, like there. I've got a piece of piano wire going through it, and then a piece of brass tubing that's silver soldered onto an eye.
This evil genius has just made a Frankenfish. It's no stretch for Jamie to replace entrails with electronics.
Oh, look, he looks great. It looks like he swam right away.
And he needs more flotation.
Look, he looks terrific, though.
Yeah, the machine's actually working.
A fish's flotation bladder stops working when it's dead, so Jamie adds an extra tube of buoyant plastic.
We are almost ready to go. We've got our blast chamber set up around a full barrel of water, and in a very little while, I'm going to lower Jamie's Frankenfish into that water. He's going to climb a ladder with a 9mm pistol and take a shot at that fish. For the first time ever, we're shooting fish in a barrel on TV.
Jamie Heineman, our own specialist sharpshooter, unholsters his trusty 9mm. He aims true and pulls the trigger. He's blown the bunk, but more improbably, he's missed the target. This ex-fish hasn't suffered a post-mortem scratch.
You see any bullet holes?
I don't see any at all.
No.
And it was still flipping.
It was still flapping, so yeah, you obviously didn't hit it in the torso.
Obviously, and let's pause to consider that a fish is pretty much all torso. Still, Adam's prepared to do whatever it takes to make life easier for the maestro. A coat of white paint and 2 windows in a new barrel should clear things up for Jamie and the camera.
Well, we need to know what's going on inside of this, and so to aid us, both with camera and our eyes, I've cut a couple of windows. This is the bottom. My head is sticking out of the bottom of the barrel, and we're also going to be able to look through the sides here.
It all seems so simple, but shooting fish in a barrel is no slam dunk.
Also, if you remember that even the 9mm that Jamie fired in here was enough to make the bunghole release and start to spew water. I think we all remember what happened last time we fired a gun into a water tank in Jamie's shop.
The memories come flooding back.
Yank all those cords out. Just yank them out.
All they proved here was that it's best to do this kind of test at someone else's place.
So rather than spill a bunch more water in here, I think we take this experimental platform out on the road and go somewhere we can spill water.
And hopefully hit the target.
Spin around. Okay, go. Wait.
What?
A little bit more like that. Like that, okay.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
You like spicy food?
No, I hate spicy food. And what does it have to do with a piñata?
Chilies. The fans want us to test hot chili cures for a spicy mouth.
We've all done it. We've all regretted it. And eventually, we'll do it again. So what is the very best remedy for a deadly dose of hot chilies? Tori and Grant put their tongues on the line so you never have to.
So we have our chilies. We have a whole range of mythical cures from the fan site. I say we eat the chilies, see which of the cures work the best. And when I say we, I mean you guys, because I need to administer the test scientifically.
But doesn't everybody know that milk is the best cure for hot chili mouth?
Which we will test. But there are a lot of cures that are not quite as predictable as milk.
Like what?
Oh, well, water, beer, toothpaste, wasabi, petroleum jelly.
Petroleum jelly? Who eats petroleum jelly?
To win the war, it helps to know your enemy. Dave DeWitt's written over 30 books on fiery foods, and he understands your pain.
This is a chemical reaction. Just like you have taste buds in your mouth, you also have capsaicin receptors, capsaicin being the ingredient that makes chili peppers hot.
Capsaicin molecules from the chili bond with receptors inside the mouth. These same receptors also register pain from heat. That's why it feels like your tongue's on fire.
So we're planning on testing this ourselves. This is something that's been on my mind. Can you die from eating a chili that's too hot?
You could die. It would probably be a suffocation.
Why suffocation?
Just your lungs would just completely shut down if you consume too much of it.
Having picked his peck of peppers, Grant delivers a bagful to the MythBusters kitchen. It's up to Carrie to choose his poison.
Habaneros are way too hot, and I have a feeling Grant's going to be a little sensitive to this as it is, so I'm starting at a middle ground, which is just the basic plain old jalapeno. I'm going to chop off the stems, and I'm going to put the whole jalapeno in there, seeds, skin, everything.
Carrie picks the mildest chili she has. They're all concerned for lab rat number 1, and that would be Grant.
Grant doesn't like spicy food. Grant doesn't eat spicy food.
So he's bound to suffer way worse than this. Oblivious to all warnings, Grant and Tori set the scene.
Is this to try to make us ignore the pain of the peppers?
It's a party.
Then get dressed for success. Sombreros, boots, and bandoliers. A desperately cliched battle looms between the tragically uncool, the undeniably hot, and these two idiots.
Go ahead. Make my chili.
Coming out, Adam and Jamie finally find their range.
I killed it!
And a chili myth gets very, very warm. If there's anything more useful, more fun, or downright fascinating than a barrel, well, I haven't seen it. Adam and Jamie are hell-bent on testing a myth that's never been challenged. Apparently, there's nothing easier than shooting fish in a barrel.
So we went so far as to call the writer of the American Heritage Dictionary of Idioms, and we could still not come up with an answer about the origin of the phrase shooting fish in a barrel.
Well, up to about 100 years ago, it was the most common way of storing fish. They were salted and packed in a barrel.
Right, but there is no information that we have that leads us to understand whether it means shooting a fish packed to the brim in a barrel or a barrel full of water and some live fish. The answer's just not out there.
Well, however you look at it, it's kind of stupid, but that's never stopped us before, has it?
No, it hasn't.
Sadly, that's true. Crackshot Jamie Heineman, who once destroyed a 1-inch sniper scope from 100 yards away, recently missed a big fat dead fish from a distance of 3 feet.
You see any bullet holes?
I don't see any at all.
Bent on a better result and less mess, the boys relocate to an outdoor shooting range. Adam rolls out the barrel and Jamie puts the spark back in his snapper.
He's alive!
Frankenfish is duly jangled in the renovated barrel. But will a new window and fresh white paint give Jamie the edge on a dead fish?
Jamie, that is so messed up.
In 3, 2, 1.
I think he's still squirming.
This time, Jamie scored a hit right below the eye, and that's got Adam all fired up.
Well, Jimmy was successful in hitting Frankenfish with a bullet, but not where he was aiming. And this guy was still swimming around when we pulled him out of the water. So I think it's only right that I get a chance to see if I can put him out of his mechanical misery. Yes, I can.
So Adam mounts the ladder of death. He takes aim and hits the fish.
I killed it!
Whether it's the sunshine or the bright new barrel, this is starting to look a lot easier than it did back in the shop. But what if the fish are much, much smaller? The myth doesn't specify the mass, so Adam prepares some bait-sized plastic lures.
It's the dead fish Christmas tree.
And it's fair to assume some latitude with the weapon of choice.
I think it's time to shoot a bunch of small fish with a bigger gun. We got 9 pellets of double-odd buck, and if I'm really good, I'll get 9 fish. 3, 2, 1.
I didn't get wet at all. How are you doing?
That's great, Adam. Much better you stay dry than all this expensive equipment. So, damage assessment proceeds the old-fashioned way. The truth of the phrase now hangs in the balance. But incredibly, the buckshot seems to have missed everything.
I don't see any hits on any of these fish.
No hits here.
Okay.
Then, finally, a ray of destructive hope.
Oh, okay, here's a big hit. That's good.
Ah, that's a hit. Right through the eye. That was the one I was shooting for.
You were aiming for fish, plural, in a barrel. And although your percentage is relatively small, I'd say you hit fish, plural, in a barrel.
But Jamie's hit just 3 from 30 of these tiny targets. Does a measly 10% hit rate confirm or refute the fabled simplicity of shooting fish in a barrel?
That's not all that impressive, but I gotta say that the rest of those fish, I don't think would be too happy. You know, they might all be dead from a shockwave for all we know.
That's right.
Back at the cantina, Tori and Grant prepare to sock it up in the name of science.
Once again, I find another way to humiliate myself on MythBusters.
Carrie's blended a not-so-secret sauce of pure jalapenos. Potential hot chili cures suggested by fans range from beer to toothpaste to petroleum jelly.
Petroleum jelly in your mouth? Are you kidding me? I'm not doing that.
But that's the least of Grant's concerns.
This is an interesting situation for me because it will be the spiciest thing I've ever eaten and the most of any spice ever. So, I hope my head doesn't explode.
Chili experts swear that rich dairy products offer the best pain relief. The theory is that the fat in dairy helps neutralize the pain caused by the oily capsaicin. Anything too watery, it's believed, just won't do the job. So milk is set to be our control cure.
All right.
How are we going to do this?
Now we're going to start off with whole fat milk. This is our tried and true, ready to soothe your mouth control. We know it works. You're going to put half a teaspoon of this jalapeno puree in your mouth, swirl it around for 10 seconds. Now, after that, you're going to spit it out. Spit. Then you're going to wait 30 seconds. 10. And go for the cure. Milk. We need a rating system between 1 and 10 on how well this cure works. This is our control will be 5, so it'll be less or more than the milk.
So, whatever relief the boys feel from milk, they'll rate a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. If any subsequent cure is better than milk, they'll rate it 6 or over.
I don't even need milk. It's really not that hot.
But there's a problem. It's not so much Grant squealing like new tires at a car park. It's that Tori hasn't raised a sweat. And you can't soothe what doesn't hurt to begin with.
You know, I don't know why the jalapenos aren't affecting me that much. I mean, I do eat a lot of spicy food.
And Grant, as we all recall, does not.
As far as the milk goes, I'm happy with that as a cure, but I really can't imagine more pain in my mouth than that. Let's just say I don't really have to experience that ever again in my life.
Actually, he does. Over and over again. But Grant won't have to eat Carrie's deadly new paste of much hotter habanero peppers, made real special just for Tori.
Oh my God, it's seriously like napalm. Look at this stuff.
To put that into perspective, the bell pepper scores 0 on the standard Scoville heat scale. Jalapenos range from 2,500 to 10,000 units. habaneros from 80,000 to 300,000. And the Bhut Jolokia, the world's hottest pepper, rings the bell at 1 million. Tori should now feel the burn just as badly as Grant. And once that burn kicks in, the first thing most of us reach for is plain old water.
I think the theory behind the water is very simple. You have a fire, you throw water on it.
So the boys suck, then spit their respective pepper poisons.
You've got 30 seconds to wait before you take the water.
With each passing second, the pain increases. This time, for both of them. But will water be a better cure than milk?
1, cure it.
I would say that's about a 3, because once the water goes away, it stops working. See how, like, even after it's gone?
All right, let's give it a 3.5.
So water doesn't cut the mustard. But thanks to a rash of seriously strange fan-site cures, there's worse, much worse, to come. After the break, Jamie and Adam change tack for an explosive ceasefire.
That doesn't sound right to me.
Aside from apple pies and baseball, there's nothing more wholesome, more American than going fishing. So far, Adam and Jamie have done their best to show how easy it is to shoot the suckers in barrels, with some success.
I killed it!
They've shot big and little fish with pistols and shotguns. But Jamie's had a brain explosion. We've all seen dynamite fishing, and he thinks the shockwaves from bullets in barrels could be just as lethal.
You know, I think your intuition out there is correct. It might not be the bullets that's going to kill these fish, but the pressure wave.
Well, maybe we should get some sensors and put them in the barrel and verify that.
A sudden explosion in water causes a rapid rise, then fall of pressure. It's thought that ether wave is enough to turn unsuspecting flounder into instant fish sticks. So Adam turns to an expert, Bart Shepard of Steinhardt Aquarium, for confirmation.
I guess the question is, how reactive would fish in general be to something like a shockwave caused by a bullet?
Very, very sensitive. Fish have a highly developed lateral line system that's sensitive to those kinds of changes in pressure that they use for orientation and sort of communication amongst themselves.
Do you think if we fire a bullet or even a shotgun slug into a barrel that we would end up killing all the fish within that barrel?
I'd expect to see trauma on the gills. They're very sensitive, and they would collapse on each other, and then probably all the blood vessels in there would be ruptured. I would expect to see some trauma in the eyes, certainly those areas.
And would that kill a fish?
It would certainly compromise it. Depending on the force that you were exerting, I think you could kill it, yes.
So Bart confirms the theory that you don't have to hit the fish to kill them, and that could make things a darn sight easier. Adam and Jamie crunch the numbers from tests on humans working long periods underwater and under pressure.
And what we concluded is that any fish will receive mortal injuries if it receives more than 215 decibels underwater. The equivalent of that in pounds per square inch of pressure is 8.15. That's our magic bullet number.
This fancy pressure sensor should prove once and for all if shockwaves from a gunshot are fatal to fish. That magic number, for those playing at home, is 8.1.
9 mil pressure in 3, 2, 1.
The reading doesn't look right. 0.5 psi. That doesn't sound right to me.
Doesn't sound right to anyone. Fact is, this clever instrument isn't fast enough to read the high-speed impact of a bullet. It's time for a patented MythBuster Plan B.
What if you use those shock watches? Those stick-on, throwaway shock sensors.
God, it's so funny. Those always turn out to be the most reliable way of measuring trauma. Absolutely. Let's try it. Let's get him in the barrel and take another shot.
Okay.
These stick-on patches are mostly used to tell if a package is dropped or bashed in the mail. They don't measure pressure in pounds per square inch, but in G-force.
We have them in 50, 75, and 100 Gs, which basically means injured, mortally wounded, lethal, that kind of thing. If we have the 50 G go off even in this test, I believe it's a safe indication that a fish would have been damaged.
So 3 differently rated shock watches are stuck fast on a metal sheet, then dunked in the barrel. If the blast trips even the most sensitive patch, Jamie figures that any fish would be dead in the water.
All right, shock watch test, 9 millimeter in 3, 2, 1.
Uh-oh. The barrel bung is an instant casualty, but so what? The boys have bigger fish to fry.
It looks like it tripped all 3.
It did.
Yeah, I can see the red spill here.
It got the lower 2 quicker, but it did trip the green one too.
These tiny red spots show that all 3 patches burst like bubble wrap in a bear hug.
And it means you don't even have to aim at the stupid fish. You can just open fire and it'll all float to the top, right?
It's not very sporting, though, is it?
No.
That's a definitive myth confirmed. Even when Jamie hit just 3 from 30, the other 27 were headed for plastic fish heaven. But surely they can't leave it here.
Well, I gotta say, it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen, but this expression's looking pretty confirmed.
Well, you don't think we're going to leave it there, do you?
You're gonna take shooting fish in a barrel to some kind of extreme?
What do you think?
He thinks what we all think. Jamie's planned a fireworks finish. With no regard for cost or consequence, Jamie's putting this myth to bed Stallone style.
Wow! Coming up on MythBusters.
What does the world's largest land mammal have to fear?
Except for fear itself.
Still to come, Grant and Tori get real close to tossing their cookies.
That doesn't work at all. Just nasty.
Tori and Grant are putting their tongues and lips on the line to test the best ever bomb for hot chili mouth burning. So far, they've testified that full-fat milk beats tap water. They're waiting a full day between each test, so their mouths get a chance to recover. Now, for 2 cures we all so desperately want to work: beer and spirits.
The idea here is that the alcohol in the beer will dissolve the capsaicin better than just plain water.
There's not a whole lot of science to support that. And let's not forget that beer is mostly water.
This is a very common cure, because you're in a restaurant, the first thing you reach for when your mouth's on fire could be a beer.
As always, the boys hold their chili for 10 seconds. Wait an agonizing half minute.
It's pretty hot.
Then reach for relief.
Can I get another one?
What was your rating on beer?
What did I rate water?
3.
I think I'd rate